Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, Section 94 of the Constitution speaks to the assumption of office by the President and Vice President. And what it does, contrary to the sentiments passed by the Minister that Subsection 3 is an inconsequential clause of the current Constitution prior to the amendment, is rather insincere and incorrect. In fact, the Minister says he's cleaning up the Constitution, is in fact contaminating the Constitution. And I'll make my point, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair, we don't read the Constitution or constitutional clauses in isolation. Constitutional clauses speak to each other. Section 94 on the assumption of the President makes two separate but significant suggestions which speak to two other clauses which I'll make reference to in my submission. Section 94, subsection 1, deals with the person who has been elected president. That person must then take oath of office, so on and so forth. Section 94, subsection 3, speaks of a different scenario under which or through which a person can assume the office of president. Section 94, subsection 3 must be read in conjunction with Section 101 of the Constitution, which speaks to the issue and question of succession. So already the drafters and the framers of this Constitution and this clause were making a futuristic positive assumption that there will be a situation where the transition of the presidency will be subjected to a succession question or process. So subsection 3 deals with that. That's why it starts by saying where a vice president assumes. Now, I want to take this House to section 143, subsection 1, and I hope the minister is following. Section 143, subsection 1 of the Constitution. You see why these two sections in section 94 speak to different scenarios. Indulge me as I go to this section. Section 143, subsection 1, Mr. Chair, says that Parliament is elected for a 5-year term which runs from the date on which the President-elect is sworn in and assumes office in terms of Section 94(1)(a). So, the life of Parliament is tied to the election of the President and the assumption of office in terms of Section 94, subsection 1. With the current amendment that is proposed to remove Section 3, what the minister or what Senate has proposed is to say, let's remove an alternative way that the President can assume office. And consequently, or the consequence of that, is that when a person assumes office in terms of Section 94(1)(a) alone, Section 143 of the Constitution is affected. Parliament will renew every time a president resigns, dies, and a vice president takes over office in terms of Section 94(1)(a). So you do not seek to remove an alternative method of assuming office without affecting Section 143, subsection 1, which says the life of Parliament runs for 5 years, or for the years that it runs, is proposed now 7 years after the assumption of office by the President. I so submit.
Order.
Minister.
Is there any further debate?
Minister. If I am wrong,
Order, Gumbo, you debated like an honorable learned counsel. Why now wanting to behave like a hooligan? Huh? Honorable Mshwari, you want to debate? Okay. Honorable Minister, I'll come to you. Let's exhaust Honorable Mshwari first.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. I listened to the Honorable Minister.
No, he can still debate. He just moved it, but he hadn't debated it.
No, remember, I moved the amendment, Mr.
Yes, you can go ahead and debate.
Mr. Chair, I listened to the response from the Honorable Minister objecting to my amendment. But I want to just state that the oath of office is a constitutional prerequisite for the lawful exercise of the presidential powers. In my view, it is not a mere formality, but a constitutional commitment to uphold and defend the Constitution. Secondly, Mr. Chair, the duration of service is irrelevant. Whether the acting president serves for 2 weeks, 1 week, the office being exercised by the acting president is that of a president and must carry the same constitutional obligations. And thirdly, Mr. Chair, dispensing with the oath creates an unnecessary constitutional exception and risk undermining the legitimacy of decisions taken by a person exercising presidential authority. Because what we are basically saying is that if a person is in that office without taking an oath, we are literally undermining the decisions. Then, Chair, it is my view that retaining Section 94.3 as it is preserves constitutional certainty and reinforces the accountability and maintains the dignity of the highest office of the Republic. Honorable Chair, the Honorable Minister maybe is actually taking this from a simplistic point of view. A vice president who is going to act even for 10 days, 10 days, and all of us know as politicians that 1 week in politics is a very long period. And 10 days of someone acting in the office of the president is a long period. Certain decisions can be made. And we don't want this person to just get into the office without taking an oath. Zimbabwe needs to have confidence in the office of the president. Then lastly, before I sit down, the Honorable Minister, in his submission, he had actually said that it doesn't matter who could actually have left this section as it is. In that view, then I think the best thing is to leave 94.3 as it currently is. And I think no one suffers anything. I think this would be the best for the country.
Is there any further debate? Yes, Honorable Zobo.
Mr. Chairman, I think Honorable Member is failing to distinguish, Honorable Mushoriwa, is failing to distinguish between two things. He's failing to distinguish between an acting president and an actual president. He seems to see these as equivalent. What the minister has made very clear is that on the death or vacancy in the presidency, the person who acts as acting president is the vice president. Now, he is equating the office of an acting president with the office of an actual president. And I think that is the flaw in his argument. Thank you. So I said.
Thank you. I recognize the Honorable Leader of Government Business. Please switch off your mic, Honorable Zobo. Thank you. Switch off your mic. Right. Yes, Honorable Leader of Government Business.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Zobo is very correct. And we must read Section 94 the way it is reading. It says a vice president who becomes a president, not acting. We no longer have a vice president who becomes the president automatically. So this is irrelevant. I don't see what we are debating, because it's saying a vice president who becomes president on the death. We don't have a vice president who automatically assumes the presidency anymore. Whether it was wrong or right, but it's no longer in our statutes. So we are simply deleting what is no longer relevant. So whether you argue whether it was correct what we did or not, it's neither here nor there. The Constitution is saying a vice president who becomes a president. And Honorable Gumbo was animated, he went to 101. It states that upon the death, a vice president who becomes acting. And we have a whole chapter on the powers of an acting president. And it stands as it is, nobody is challenging it. I propose that we move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Leader of Government Business. Order. 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 I put the question that the amendment proposed by Honorable Mshoriwa be now made to delete clause 4. Those who of that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed, and the amendment to delete clause 4 is hereby negatived. I put